remember. Hello.
Welcome, Margo.
This is from my book called P.S. Don't Tell Your Mother. It's an account of life in northern British Columbia, where I'm from. The beautiful town of Telkwa, British Columbia, population 852. Somewhere between Smithers and nowhere, and most people in Smithers don't know where it is either. So, this is called the Fur Follies. That was quite the Christmas and New Year. I was so scared when the chimney caught on fire. The whooshing noise of the fire going up the chimney was so loud, and the pipe was redder than Santa's hat. I think it was my mom who helped the fire along. She didn't know that my Nana Noonan had zipped home a few minutes before her and added 5 big lumps of coal. Mom topped the supply off to a dozen, and that's when Nana's chimney caught fire. Mom was mad at herself for not checking the fire and just throwing the coal in because she didn't want to wreck her New Year's outfit. Everyone was happy that my cousin Martin and I have had lots of fire drill practice because our dads are in the Telkwa Volunteer Fire Department. I'm glad it wasn't worse because we wouldn't have been able to go to Smithers on New Year's Day. On second thought, we might just as well stayed home. For Christmas, Nana, Granddad, and Grandma Mulvaney gave us kids tickets to see the Smithers Skating Club and its Ice Follies. The kids who want to go on to win medals skating put on quite the extravaganza. I read that in the program. It's just that Nana, well, she put on more than the show. Granddad decided he would stay home, and it was a good thing he did. Though I'll bet once he heard what all happened, I bet you he wished he was kind of there. We were all sitting in the first row because our family bought the most tickets. I was between Nana and my cousins, and then Grandma Mulvaney was on the other side with all our other side of the family. The show had lighting and costumes, and they were really beautiful. The little kids came out first. They didn't do much. Things were slow, hard to get going when you're just learning, I guess. One kid came out, half walked, half skated. He was in front of us when he lost his balance and bent right over. All we could see was his rear end and 2 legs. He stayed like that for the whole song. My cousins and I were screeching with laughter. So much so that Patty Phelps, the postmistress, tapped Nana Noonan on the shoulder and told us to tell her to quiet us kids down. An older kid skated by and picked the little guy up. He was still bent over. What a lot of clapping went on for that kid. I hope he's too young to remember, or he'll hate ice skates and crowds forever. The middle kids did little hops, and they were okay. One girl fell from her highest leap and landed with a big face-first splat on the ice. She managed to get up and would have done just fine, except she headed for the wrong end of the rink. What a nice crowd. Everyone there hollered like hell and had her pointed to the other exit. Didn't help a lot because we were all in the dark and she couldn't see which way she was going. She eventually made it down to the end of the rink, and as lights were coming up, made a fast jump and landed inside the backstage area. The crowd was disappointed because someone pulled the curtain shut. I think she was badly hurt. Then there was an intermission. We should have left when the going was good. The lights went out. Mrs. Ranafan, the MC, announced the winning number for the door prizes. But no one could see their numbers, and there was a lot of grumbling, and everybody got out their lighters and matches to check to see if they won a dinner at Beasley's Grill, a set and curl at Martha's Heavenly Hair Salon, or the grand prize of $10 worth of hardware at Ranafan's Hardware and Feed Store. We're still not sure who won. Older kids came out all at once. The boys had on black pants, white skirts, and black and red bow ties. All the girls were in red with black bows, except one. I leaned over, is a beautiful blonde, and she had on a white ballerina skirt and a sparkly top. She looked so beautiful. Boy, can she skate. The lights dimmed. The skaters all left the ice, except Eileen. One spotlight, operated by the young man who she'd marry, followed her around the rink. The music was soft. Eileen did a couple of jumps down the far end and went backwards up the other side of the rink. She finished a nice jump at the top end and then went by us on one leg with the other leg so high up behind her it was like she was doing a standing splits. That's when the quietest part of the music came on. Eileen glided past. Nana let out a little gasp and said very loudly, "Look at the fur!" I didn't quite get what she meant until I glanced back at Eileen in perfect splits by this time. I think I was the only one on our side of the rink not to catch on right away. There were louder gasps, then half the crowd took it upon itself to giggle, snort a couple of times, and laugh right out loud. Nana couldn't leave well enough alone. She said, "I only say what I see." The place went nuts. My cousin Martin fell from his seat, and Nana was kicking at him. She hollered, "Get up, for Christ's sakes, you're embarrassing me." That did it for everyone else who wasn't already laughing. By then, the word had spread around the rink, and the whole place was hooting and clapping loudly. The song was over. Eileen, knowing she'd given her best performance ever, did an encore spin, a little jump, and splits down the opposite side of the rink. Nana, not too outdone, said, "See what I mean?" Eileen got a standing ovation, and while that was happening, my cousin Martin and I ran like mad out to wait at the front of the rink. We made it behind my uncle's Land Rover just in time to duck down and avoid the scene around Nana, who turned out to be the real star of the ice volleys. This is a letter from my grandmother to me. Dear Maggie, there are some times in a person's life when the crowd gets them going. That happened to me and Eileen over at the Smithers skating ice volleys. At least I knew what I was doing. I hope you're not too mad at me. When you think about it again, I'm sure you'll find it funny. Love, Nana. P.S. Tell your mother I wrote a note to the Dovers so your dad can still do business at their store when he comes back to Smithers. I also sent a card to Grandma Mulvaney. She just doesn't have the same sense of humor as you do.